I just realized something about this screen in particular. I'm still using Windows 10! Oh no, my computer will explode if I don't update it! And it's also almost Halloween! I guess I should pick something scary to review, as is the YouTuber tradition. I wonder if there's something that will give me a sign on some game that is scary for me to play. What was that? Oh, I see something. Deadly Premonition. Seems good. Deadly Premonition is a scary game.
Emily, the answer is onion.
Onion?
Well, it's classified as a horror game where you, an FBI agent, sent to a small American town to solve a murder of why red seeds are appearing at the crime scene. But your character also talks to himself a lot, mostly about movies.
Another movie that was produced by Spielberg. The second Back to the Future.
Seriously, what is this game even about? Deadly Premonition was released in 2010 for the 360 before ports to PS3, Windows, and Switch over the years. And you wouldn't believe which version is the best one to play. It was developed by Axis Games, who were founded by Swery65, one of those auteur Japanese game developers that you hear YouTubers say they grew up playing only their games and will have nothing but praise on everything they make. I am not one of those people, as the only interaction I had with their games was The Missing, which I thought was okay. It was kind of difficult at times. But Deadly Premonition is one of those games that seems like I should try in my lifetime. As a fan of quirky detective murder mysteries, now, am I gonna be a fan of this game?
George, which do you prefer, mustard or hot sauce?
It was a game that was notably cancelled many times and reworked to avoid being compared to the obvious inspiration, Twin Peaks. Yet another show that is on the, yeah, I probably should watch that before I die list. Wait, Grim Reaper, what are you doing here? You're saying I should watch it soon then? Something about a girl and a TV? Man, these premonitions make no sense. And so, over the years, they would work on the quirky game inspired by film dialogue set in America, where in the bonus features you can see that they put in their little work trip to the US, where surely you guys weren't just including this because you wanted to say that trip was a business expense. Like anything you put in your creative endeavors, you can just say it was for work, but I don't think it works like that. Man, my desk is a mess. And so, with a small budget, as they were working on another game at the time, where this game would have a scope where everyone in town follows a daily time schedule, having to keep track of all these systems, a driving mechanic, having this largish world be filled with things to do, while also telling a serial killer story. It was a lot when it released in 2010, with other games around this time, you know, looking like this, and this was on the very American console. People were not impressed. I mean, just look at this thing. They actually even skipped the Australian release because of our old classification board. And yeah, I can see that this game does have the things that I know the board doesn't like. Not the anime booba, the other things. They also released a director's cut, which were weirdly added in these cutscenes that some people don't like that adds to the canon. And yeah, nowadays, this is one of the best ways to play the game. And it's the version I got. Yeah, I can buy things for videos when I want to. It's because the PC and Switch versions, while more accessible now, well,
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no.
yeah, you ain't gonna tempt me with that $2 sale price. To this day, the games are still a mess to play on the newer ports. And people say if you can somehow get the original release on the 360, that is the best one. I only have a PS3, so I got the director's cut, which seems to be the next best thing, which thankfully I didn't experience any major bugs, only some audio stuff that I'll get to later on. But yeah, from the outside, this game is crazy, as you have Japanese developers trying to make a game that would appeal to the West. very hard. And yet the best way to play it is on a console that is not known for Japanese developers, with things in the game that people say only make sense if you have watched Twin Peaks, where they found the gameplay so irritating, trying to find NPCs to talk to at the right time, keeping the main character's hunger at bay, to then gunplay so mediocre, where it's funny to learn that this was actually added in last minute by the publisher, because they were like, you know you're only going to sell this game in America if you add guns, right? I mean, that's why the devs made the guns pretty easy to break the game with.
This is great!
But over time, the game wowed people who stuck with it, the story and setting, the vibes of it being like a Twin Peaks game without the name, something people wanted to play and live in this town, doing things you do in your real life like eat, sleep, drive to work every day, while solving a serial killer mystery with quirky characters, and over time, it became a cult favorite. The game sticks with you if you stick with it. And what better time to play it in Spooky Month? I mean, it sure does seem scary with backwards zombies, dimly lit rooms, and oh my god, what is that? Well, starting up the PS3 version, which I should note has some unique features like 3D TV support and motion controls.
I said, God help me.
Thankfully, it's not mandatory.
One. This story is very strange and very nasty, but somewhat nostalgic. Do you think you can be a good girl and listen all the way to the end?
Is it a scary story?
It might be.
It also has BDSM dungeons and a killer biting off people's tongues. So yeah, this is the main character, Agent Francis York Morgan, who's retelling his story to his granddaughter, where it starts.
What? What are you talking about?
And so he is part of the FBI and is being sent to Greenvale, Washington to investigate a murder. Where all over the country, there have been these brutal cases where red seeds were being found at the crime scene, linking them all together.
Listen, they both need each other. It's called interdependency, and they both know it. Yeah, I know. He does terrible things to Tom. Nasty, even sadistic things. But that's fine, as long as that's what Tom wants. Think about it. His actions. He's always asking for it. It's his partner's job to fulfill that need, and Jerry knows that. Proof? Well, in the Tom and Jerry show, they live with each other. Hello? Hello?
But then a raincoat person makes him veer off the road into oncoming squirrels. You kind of squirrel? And so begins the gameplay where you're in the other world. Think Silent Hill, where these backward zombies appear who really don't want you shooting them. You can walk around and pick up items where you have a very small inventory, and you have to send things to your toolbox, which also has a very small inventory. To help with this, the melee weapons have durability, and they're a good way of defeating the zombies. But you also have an unlimited ammo pistol, which is not the strongest, but I didn't even realize this. The PS3 version makes you play on easy mode. Yeah, the zombies go down in one hit, making the combat not that worrying, despite how scary it seems. The zombies moving backwards and jittering about the place. It also has weird controls where you hold L1 to aim, then you shoot with R1, but you can hold R2 to let the cursor auto-lock onto the nearest target, which is sorely needed, as the control stick normally has this acceleration. In modern FPS games you can just fine-tune this, but this is the dang PS3 controller! Without this auto-lock on button, the game would be way more harder and I would be way more annoyed. And so you find items in blue that can be healing or stamina fixer-uppers. Well, this will build up when you hold L2 to run, so you might need stabilizers to calm yourself to let it not build up fast. And you have a hunger mechanic with food that will help later on, and you just gotta find these red objects to interact with to progress the story, like turning on the power here to open the next door. But then, just when you're getting the hang of it, this happens. QTEs, this truly is a PS3 game!
definitely something in this town. Do you feel it, Zach? My coffee warned me about it.
Yesterday morning, the milk I poured in my coffee made a sign.
Maybe you're lactose intolerant, buddy. And so with saving only at the payphones, you gotta run to the market where you meet the local law enforcement, the Sheriff George and Deputy Emily.
If you don't mind me asking, did you walk all the way here?
My car broke down, that's all. She's easy on the eyes. Definitely worth a trip to the primitive world.
By the way, don't mention anything about what happened back there. She'll think you're a psycho. Don't want that, do we, Zach? FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, just call me York. That's what everyone calls me.
So this is that dynamic of, a big government investigator comes into a small town and the head honcho here gets annoyed that someone is taking over his case.
Zach, let's reassess the situation. There are no cavemen here. We're as far forward as the Middle Ages. And we've just met the king.
It's why George calls us Morgan instead of our preferred York name. And so we see Kid Us in a now showing how the zombies can't see you if you hold R2 and slow walk past them. You never need to use this the entire game except for like 3 sections. And so we awake at our hotel room complete with real mirror technology, where you can change your suit, shave, and check out the toilet. And the door opening animation is so slow. Is York trying to not break the doors with how gently he opens them? Oh, this reminds me of something.
Daddy's gonna kill you.
$24 for candy? Oh my god! Damn, we really are in the middle of nowhere. And so we get to the lunchroom where the owner Polly makes us breakfast as we're the only guests in the hotel.
Is everything all right, Mr. Morgan?
Oh my god, it's the near table!
Aside from you and me, there seems to be no other guests or workers around.
What's that? The salt's in that white shaker there.
Thank you. I was wondering if there were any other guests or workers here.
Oh, no one else. But I have to admit, running a hotel is kind of like a hobby of mine.
That's nice. Polly, it might help to hear you better if you could sit a little closer.
Oh my, Mr. Morgan, you're embarrassing me.
So we do our morning ritual, staring at how the milk we pour into our coffee will tell us something about the future. What, you don't do that too? It's pretty normal. I don't do it because I don't drink coffee, but I heard you should try it. Ah, so that's where Thor High Heels gets the sound effect from.
Did you see that, Zach? Clear as a crisp spring morning. F.K. in the coffee. I knew I could count on it. Never fails.
So George left us a free police car, which is kind of nice in that you can drive any available police car around, as this place is huge in an empty kind of way, where you need to drive a lot to get anywhere. And how's the driving? It stinks. Where you turn, it has a lag to it, with the camera taking so long to follow you turning. And if you try to hold R2, to drift around corners, you will always spin out. It is important, as you're meant to keep the car from not getting damaged and filled up on petrol, but the entire game I never had any issues with this, only having to fill up a couple of times. As instead, you could just use a different police car you see, at the parking spots. There's always like 3, as they always are completely new. But now here is the star of the show. Zach! As you talk to Zach, your imaginary friend, about things you like, your past. And it feels more real because they literally talk about things in our real world, 80s and 90s movies. I always thought saying stuff like this had a copyright thing. Like you couldn't just mention the actual Star Wars without Disney getting mad at you. Or like the actual John Williams without having to pay someone for that license. Hence why in most games, they just change up the name slightly. You know how Sherlock Holmes is called Herlock Sholmes to not get sued into bankruptcy. But because of this, it actually really helps set this game in our real world. Like, wow, okay, the writer is just gushing about movies that I recognize, and in turn, making York feel more real to us, the player, as he likes movies that you have heard of, so your real world knowledge of them can help. Like, I love John Williams' soundtrack, York does too. So, we are the same, we are friends!
Actually, Zach, I've got a confession to make. Promise not to tell anyone because I'd be really embarrassed. I actually like the first 2 Superman movies more than the first 2 Star Wars movies. I think John Williams did a better job with the theme song for Superman.
So we enter the sheriff's building and meet Thomas, George's assistant. It was very sad Anna was killed. So Anna was a teenage girl who was murdered, which is pretty gruesome for this town because nothing like that has ever happened here. And then I had no idea what to do next. I wandered around and then I found these cells downstairs. Oh, okay, I can open every single one of them. Oh, okay, I can sleep on the bed? Sure? Well, this is one way to make a first impression. And so Thomas says we need to find a key to open Anna's file, and it's got to be a squirrel key. No, not that squirrel key, this specific squirrel key. Oh, you're one of those games, huh? We'll see about that. And so we find this dumbbell lying around, and
It's the epitome of the old frontier sheriff's office. It's perfect. A stuffed deer's head on the wall. A flag, a hunting rifle. A hunting rifle. Amazing. You'd never see a hunting rifle on the wall of a police department in the city. It's just amazing.
oh, you can tell Sweary was loving his visit to the US.
George, do you work out every day?
Well, at least our terrible first impression has been forgotten. So we give the dumbbell to George, and this completes a side quest where townspeople will have this phone icon and they'll want you to usually get something for them, which is hard because they have schedules. And the things they want are also on schedules, and some only unlock when you do prerequisite quests. But you will learn a lot about the characters and usually get something good, where George's second quest will give you one of the best items in the game. Hence why I had to give him the dumbbell instead of just chucking it out the window.
Zach, you need some friends who aren't so dumb.
And now I learned, oh my god, you can hold the run button and York does a run animation through the door. No matter how close you are, just hold L2 and he will barge in. Not caring about the door's hinges, it speeds up the animation so much. And you want to do these things like getting in and out of the car, it shows the animation every time, so you got to quickly mash start to skip it, as over the course of the game, it will add up and help you not go insane with how meticulous these things feel. However, don't keep mashing start because you may accidentally skip some cutscenes. You wouldn't believe how many times I keep accidentally doing this in games. I'm not doing this on purpose. I have to show the cutscene. Thankfully, it wasn't that important, as all you have to do is go to the hospital for the autopsy, and you'll get a chance to know more of your co-workers.
Agent Morgan, I can't help noticing you prefer to work alone.
Most of the time, yes.
Don't you get lonely flying all over the country alone?
I will say I've never felt lonely.
Are you married?
Unfortunately, relationships and I are fleeting strangers. I don't get on very well with women, you might be surprised to hear.
That's because you're young. You notice things like that at my age. You have to treat women carefully, like a thin crystal wine glass. If you don't, they can cut scars on your face, just like yours, right?
George, is this an interrogation? I see you're a seasoned professional. But let's not talk about my scar. It was caused by a problematic woman.
Well, she got you good. Terribly good.
It'll fade away, and nobody will notice it in a week.
A week? It's not that light.
And yep, I had to cut out this important dialogue because this map sucks. works. The minimap is so tiny, and the direction is just some vague general area. So you have to open the map where you gotta pause, then scroll over, then open it. And even then, you can't zoom out further than this, like you're scouring a real physical map. Oh, it's cool. Realism, yay. But I'm playing a video game. I don't want it to be real. It's not that good. I guess over time you'll eventually learn the roads and you can sort of tell which connects to where. But this was so overwhelming at the start where you're trying to drive this horrible car and you're trying to listen to this fun dialogue, but then you have to stop and figure out, hang on, wait, did I miss the left turn to Albuquerque? All the while.
Investigation. Hi there, Fiona. We're here to see Usha. Do you know where he is?
I think Dr. Johnson is in the computer room.
A computer room? In a hospital?
Nice to meet you, Mr. FBI agent. The computer room is where our employees share a computer.
Very nice to meet you, too. I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. But how did you know I was FBI?
Easy. None of the police in this town wear cologne.
Fiona, don't say that.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
And so you gotta find Usher, which is so confusing to try to find him. He's all the way down in this place that I didn't even think hospitals had. And you find Anna's body and you learn her cause of death. Blood loss from her abdomen, killed without resistance, possibly drugged, and her tongue was cut out.
You're wrong, also. Anna died fully, deeply, painfully aware of what was happening to her.
But,
Tell me, what time did it stop raining on the night Anna was killed?
Just before I went to bed, right after the movie on TV ended, so around 1 a.m.
What movie was it?
An American Werewolf in London.
Directed by John Landis, 1981.
And so you find out that the killer actually bit off her tongue and stuffed these red seeds in her mouth, which now links this case to all the other FBI ones, so York assumes full control of the investigation. And we can leave the room, but they get dragged into the other world, where it's weird because it only seems to happen when you're alone. And York never mentions it to other people, like, dang, your hospital is infested with zombies. You should use some antibacterial wipes for that. And this is the same as before. You'll find some items to unlock doors to go through and following a ghostly vision of Anna running away. And yep, you just reach the entrance and it's like nothing ever happened. As we meet the owner of the town, Harry, who speaks through his assistant saying, beware the evil of the town. Evil of the town? Bro, fix up the evil of the hospital first!
I have the authority approved by the FBI to assume command. I understand you don't like it, but you will follow my orders.
I'm not disputing FBI authority, but this is our town. You won't get far alone, and you gain nothing by antagonizing me.
It's part of my personality. I just do things my way. I can take you off the case if you wish.
Stop it, you two. We need to solve this case, not bicker among ourselves.
York is real happy about his trolling. So you gotta drive to the park where Anna was killed, which is a long way away. And I'm like, okay, I kinda don't wanna lose petrol, you know, I just started the game, so I gotta find the petrol station. Okay, this guide says it's over here, and...
Oh, I've never seen you here before. You in town to see some sights?
How is it in the space of 2 months I play 2 games with gas attendants both wearing the same outfits? It's funny because you can also get the other version of the other attendant. And it's more funny because if you take detours like this, the cops will go, wow, okay, nice to know you're totally serious about the murder. I see where your priorities lie. We will go on ahead without you. Just make sure you are at the park by 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
You tell us to come here, and you keep us waiting. Is this the way the FBI treats their own people?
Hello, George. I just had some things I had to do.
So it turns out these twins found the body, which you can see in the title screen if you don't press anything, one of those movies that play if you just let it, load. They believe Anna to be a goddess of the forest, as in death. She returned there. And so you gotta find clues around where you'll see these keys and you need to find all of them to progress, where York will then begin profiling, as he seems to have this supernatural ability to see into the crime, how it happened, when he has all the clues. As we find a broken stiletto and a wood chip, meaning someone else was here after after the murder, and it may have taken place in the lumber mill and the body was moved here. And York says, oh, I gotta go in alone.
I have to keep suspects out of the crime scene.
How can you say such a thing? Is he making fun of us? We should have left him behind and come here by ourselves.
You're right. I've never been so insulted.
Sorry, but I'm just doing my job. Did you hear that, Zach? If they're pros, then we should let every first-person shooter gamer out there join the SWAT team.
And so in the other world, we find that it's based on the real world, but there's some slight differences. And you see that the murder took place at this ritual site, where I also learned, this probably explains the squirrels at the start, that Access Games hired an outside studio to make all the sound effects. They used a lot of stock sounding ones. I swear, I never want to hear stock sound effects in games again, especially ones that are memes. Like, I don't need to remember how old I am remembering that hamster gerbil thing. And so, yeah, you just make your way through solving very easy puzzles using the physical weapons if you want, since they one shot, as you then come across the Raincoat Killer, who is seemingly the murderer trying to stop you. And when they jump scare you, you got to do a QTE to avoid it, but then you'll have this segment where he's breaking down the door in a split screen view, and you gotta pick a spot to hide. And then he'll walk past you and you hold R2 to hold your breath, and this takes so long for him to walk. It's fun the first time, like, oh, scary, oh no, he's gonna get me, Dead by Daylight vibes. But my god, this happens like 3 more times in the game, and it just takes forever to finish. And then you have this segment where you gotta run away from him by flicking the control stick left and right and pressing circle to dodge his axe throws. Thankfully, the guy told me you could rotate the stick and it works. You don't have to mash side to side. But yeah, first time it's charming. Second time, I want to pull my hair out because of how frustrating it is. I would rather have a mini shootout with this guy since the zombies weren't posing any threat to me. So maybe it could be something to actually use your gun with some skill. Like, you know, an FBI agent should probably be blasting away at the gun on his killer who's trying to kill him. And you know, maybe not so easily to try and shoot zombies who's spouting these lines. You ever think about that, York? Well, we learn the killer had an upside down peace tattoo on their back. And York is like, all right, show me your backs. And they reluctantly both do so. Emily is fine, but George has these scars where he says it's a personal reason and okay, it's not a tattoo, so you're fine. And they both acknowledge Zach. Because, yeah, I was kind of wondering, is this going to be a thing where it's only shown to us, the player, that he's talking to himself? Or no, he's actually talking out loud in public to Zach like this. And I guess it's the latter. Reminds me of some other media.
Don't mention anything about what happened back there.
Who are you talking to?
She'll think you're a psycho.
It's not on.
So now the game sort of opens up in that you don't feel as restricted to the sheriff crew in following them around. You could leave beforehand, but I didn't feel it was worthwhile early on, you know, letting them go ahead to the scenes while you drive away in your car, because you'll actually get unique talking segments with them. If you say, nah, go on ahead, you're gonna miss out on all that character interaction. But now you tell the sheriff to round up everyone at the community center tomorrow so you can speak with all the town's NPCs. But you don't have to go there right away. You can do things in the meantime, like trying a time trial with the car. Just go around checkpoints in a time limit, or finding these trading cards, which are only for completionists. It was actually hilarious in that most, if not all of the guides for this game were for completionists. Yeah, I don't know why. Apparently this is a game where everyone wants to 100% it. None of them were just covering the basic story elements. They would all be like, okay, we gotta optimize our time, gamers, making sure you do this now, then you go back here to do this at this time, and then you make sure to replay this stage, because if you don't do it, you're gonna be locked out, and it was so overwhelming. I legit was panicking because, wait, so you're telling me I can't relax in this town with all these cool vibes because I gotta do all these things before the community center? Like, if I miss that time tomorrow, it's a game over? I have to make it there by 3 p.m. and do everything I want beforehand as quick as possible? And so I learned more realism the game has, where if you interrupt York's monologue, he will just pick off again by restarting the whole talk. The car has a horn, wipers, and if you hold L2, it will put the sirens on and actually go a little faster. I think it's because the game kind of looks like it's maybe a PS2 game, you know, maybe a bit more higher than that. That all these things feel mind-blowing in this game because you're like, wait, wow, a game with this low frame rate can do all that? Then I decided, okay, if I'm pressed for time, the single most important item in the game is the walkie-talkie from George. So you gotta visit him at his house only at night.
George, which do you prefer, mustard or hot sauce?
You didn't come all the way to my house just to ask me that.
And he says his mother is sick, so we should find a flower that only blooms on rainy nights and bring it to him. So it's not raining, so I gotta wait. Where I get another realism thing. You can peek into nearly every building in town. And people love this feature because it's so voyeuristic. Yeah, if you like loading screens. Seriously, without a guide, what? You're just meant to peek into random people's houses to get some random lore? And yes, stuff will happen if you peek inside, but you have to know which house at which time. But with 2 loading screens, this was another thing of like, yeah, did we really need to spend time and resources putting this into the game? Oh, you did? Okay, more power to you. What did need to be in the game, though, was fishing. You can buy a fishing rod and bait, and you'll press X to throw it, and then press X when it tells you to, and then press X again to try to get this thing to land on the fish. It's pretty okay, nothing too challenging. Now, while you're out and about, your sleep meter goes down as well as your hunger. And if your hunger is at 0, you will actually lose health. So you need to always eat something to keep it up. But remember how limited your inventory space is. Yeah, it becomes a little challenging if you don't happen to have food on you, which, mind you, is pretty expensive all the way out here. I guess it makes sense with how the hunger mechanic is more well thought out and challenging than the actual gunplay combat, which was hastily thrown in. But you do get a free lunch if you go to the sheriff's office during this time, where Thomas is an amazing cook and will make everyone lunch.
So, what exactly do you want to talk to everyone about?
This case goes deeper than you think. The townfolk may have heard about the murder, but they don't understand it. It's a very dangerous situation, and I need to warn them properly. I hope most of them are decent enough to come.
No problem there. Emily has made all the arrangements.
I've told everyone to gather around between 1500 and 1700.
Great. Reminds me of a film I saw recently. A town is under attack by aliens, and so the mayor calls all citizens to the town hall to warn them. However, seeing this, the aliens attack the hall and wipe them all out together.
Is that relevant, Agent York?
The way they kill is fantastic. They used a combination of balloons and meat sauce for exploding heads. Those aliens start firing their death rays and heads start popping. Splat! Really quite something.
Agent York, some of us are trying to eat here.
I know, Emily, I'm one of them. Well, anyway, your cooking is the best, Thomas. Thank you.
No problem.
And so, yeah, it's actually quite fun to go into people's homes and just learn more about the people.
Olivia. Now that's a lovely name.
Do you think so? You're the only one who's ever said that other than my father and Nick.
Oh, it's a very good name. You should be proud of it. There's that famous singer, too, isn't there? From the 70s? She's actually from England, but she's got this really strong image of being an American pop singer.
Huh?
That's it. Olivia Newton-John. You know of her, right? She's not only a successful singer, she's successful as an actress, too. Personally, I really liked Xanadu back in 1980. She played a cute fairy and just looked amazingly stunning. It's hard to believe she was 32 at the time. Right, Zach?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Really? That's a shame. You should watch it when you get a chance. You'll learn to love your name.
Oh, okay.
And then I get hit with the biggest realism ever. If you don't take care of yourself, you get... Uh-oh. Yep, you have to keep shaving to keep up your appearances and changing your suits, because if you don't, York will actually grow a beard over time and flies will attract around him. And I'm thinking, bro, this is crazy. Let's see how far we can take this. Meaning, you're gonna be seeing a lot of these garbage dump friends in every scene from now on. And so I finally head to the community center. I did what I wanted to do, and I'm still early. Man, this is stressing me out. Better smoke. Damn it, I pressed it too early. It's still not 3 p.m. Yeah, you can use these heavy cigarettes to pass time, which is very handy, as you'll need to be at certain spots at these times. You could also sleep too, which restores your sleep meter, but it will also make you more hungry. As we finally hold the meeting, the very stinky FBI agent. And I'll try not to show too much of this with raw audio. I don't know if it was the game itself or me today not plugging in the capture card fully, as the audio in this chapter sounded like this.
Those of you with children, especially of Anna's age.
And it's hilarious because I'm like, okay, this is a janky game. Maybe this section is meant to sound like that on the PS3? I don't know. Was it my fault? Is it the game's? I could believe it. Maybe. This is what Swery envisioned for gamers.
Were you close to her?
So you tell the crowd that the FBI will solve the case before more murders happen. And you learn that Thomas has a tattoo on their back with a heart symbol and a G on it. Harry, the old guy, is like, watch out, I'm old. And this fog that is purple, it's... Sure thing, you crazy old coot.
It's simple, really. There's only 3 types of people. Criminals, victims, and investigators. Everyone else are just vegetables. Vegetables called other people.
You really are strange.
So after that's done talking to every NPC, the main group invite you for dinner, and you can refuse, but accepting leads to more character development, where we learn about...
Agent York, what kind of cases have you dealt with in the past?
Not much different from those you've just mentioned. The case I was on until last month, well, the guy killed 7 girls in a 3-month period. He sawed their heads off from the neck and took them back to his house. Well, that is one thing, but those he had used to relieve himself.
Hey, I'm trying to eat lunch here.
And so I finally find that flower and give it to George, which gets me the walkie-talkie, which lets you fast travel to visited locations, which is so helpful in this game. But yeah, it kind of ruins any of that gas requirement or any need to upgrade your car and such. You can just easily get to where you want to go with this item. Also, you meet this guy who deals with weapons and trading
You'll
cards.
pay me just to look at my cards. You really must be a card freak, huh?
But here is where I learned something else. I looked up online, and it says you don't have to actually do the main task on the day. It says only the time. So tomorrow at 3 p.m. means any day at 3 p.m. You just have to be there at that time. You don't get a game over, meaning you can spend however many days you want doing the character's side quests. And reading this blew my mind because I felt all that stress leave me. Oh, I don't actually have to rush. I can slow it down. And turns out, this is where I really started to like this game. So yeah, I looked up which quest should I do. The ones with key items. If that walkie-talkie was going to be so clutch, what other things did I need? And one was 3 quests with Emily and her cooking, where you need to specifically buy food from the shops to bring her to cook. Now, in this town, they have this rumor where if you go out when it rains, a raincoat killer will buy you lunch and then kill you. So the shop to buy food is always closed during rain. So you gotta find a day where it's sunny and then bring it to Emily where she will cook, but only on rainy nights. And man, I was writing so much of this down in my notes because I was excited to have to juggle all this, but at my own leisure. I think it stems from games like Majora's Mask, which I haven't played, so why am I bringing that up, I guess, for you, the viewer, because the one I'm more experienced with is Lightning Returns, which also has that feature where you're limited on what things you have to do on a global timer, and if you don't do it, you lose the whole game, which stressed me out a lot. But now I was free to drive my low-budget car as much as I pleased. And you know, maybe it's the media I watched as a kid. Grease, that kind of thing, all those cartoons, maybe from reading Archie comics too. I kind of love that small American town vibe, where your gas station's looking like this, you have a sheriff who is the law. It's the peak Americana to me, the Australian. While also in between cutscenes now, you got those new ones from the director's cut, where Old Man York is telling his granddaughter the story, and yes, the granddaughter is named Emily, which is interesting, to say the least. And so, awaking the next day with our fly buddies, here they seemingly are growing in numbers, we walk out and meet...
Whoa there!
Did you need something?
The door opening like that it surprised me, that's all.
Oh my goodness, FK, liking the coffee! He's the bad guy! Look, the suspect list isn't that big from what we've seen already, and he hasn't shown me his bag! He's number 1 on my list! So Kaysen is a traveling tree salesman who is like, yeah, I'm the only one who can make this special tree plant grow into a sapling. Cool story, bro. Didn't ask, but hey, have you seen this movie called Jaws? And has a dog named Willie, and I guess is now the second guest in the hotel.
I was wondering if you know of anyone that Kaysen didn't give a sapling to.
Oh, too much pepper. I did think it might be. I'm sorry.
Zach, I forgot. We'll never get anything out of her, will we?
So the art museum director is Diane, who probably wears high heels, and maybe she was the one who saw the murder. And okay, I'm like, it's been 3 hours today, let me stop recording. So I need to save, and these two get pissed off that I stopped, so they drive off ahead. And now, I'm alone with my thoughts, aka Zach.
Zach, don't you think there are a lot of good-looking women in this town?
It's like heaven compared to the town we grew up in.
So we arrive and are like, sorry, we're late. Okay, can you two wait outside? I like to do things alone. Thanks for waiting.
What the hell are you saying?
And go in, seeing Olivia, who runs off. And then we find Diane and Carol, Thomas's sister, arguing. And then Diane is like,
I sleep with anyone I wish. Anyone I prefer to sleep with. I guess she had her eye on one of them, but I don't know who it was exactly. I could sleep with you, if you like.
I'm flattered by your offer, but I don't think that would be appropriate.
well, at least he has some principles.
Right now, you are not a suspect. But both Zach and I are certainly feeling shaky about you.
I guess you're not going to react to Zach,
remain in
huh?
the clear,
People in this town are
just watch
seemingly
yourself.
okay with the guy talking to himself. And we leave and, Kaysen is talking to Diane.
That's Kaysen.
I knew he was suspicious. So I ditch Emily and finally buy those ingredients for Emily. Emily, please, this is all for you.
Don't keep me waiting too long, okay?
And buy this map which points to a spooky legend.
Back when this place was a lumber kingdom?
Hell yeah, bro.
rockin'
That's
80s.
perfect for
That tunnel was the main
Halloween.
connect-
Where we also got a minigame pushing boxes. Sure would have liked to keep that overhead view the whole time. So I head to that map location, which is 4 waves of defeating zombies. And when you complete it, you get an unlimited ammo machine gun. Oh boy. See, reloading actually does take some skill because it takes a while. So using the guns, you can't move around while aiming and you could get swarmed. But now, this lets you stand still and shoot, how many bullets before reloading?
Oh my goodness!
And with auto aim, you can now break the combat even more. I didn't need any physical weapons at all. Well, to make up with Emily, we buy a lunch.
Something too. It'll be on the FBI.
Okay then, I'll go all out. I'll have the T-bone steak. I usually can't order it because it's a little too expensive.
She's so adorable in a mooching kind of way. And in pops Harry with his usual.
1 turkey, strawberry jam, and cereal sandwich.
And York is like, bro, that's just crazy enough that it might be good.
I can't believe it. This is fantastic. It's really good. Olivia, I'm sorry, but can I change my order? I'll have what Harry is having.
Do not try this at home. So we learn about how Emily, she moved here in high school. She wasn't born in this town. And because of her city clothes, people thought that she was promiscuous.
I get where you're coming from. I used to dress like a hardcore punk rocker when I was in high school.
You? A punk rocker?
Nobody took my side. Even when I had good grades. People rejected me just because of what I wore. I was young back then, too.
Even still, I just don't see you as a punk rocker.
And you laugh? Look at you. No makeup on. Dressed in uniform, eating a steak for lunch.
So Olivia is suspicious of her husband, Nick, is cheating on her, meeting with Diane at the art gallery. So we will talk to Olivia alone that night, but I have some stuff to do. First, the free lunch.
Thomas, have you ever eaten Emily's cooking?
What?
Hey, what exactly are you asking?
I was just wondering what you thought of her cooking, that's all. You know, perhaps an unbiased opinion of one who is himself a fantastic chef.
So how about it? Have you eaten her cooking?
I have. Just once.
And how was it?
Well, that's not an easy question.
Honesty is the best policy.
How can I say this?
Cut it out, Agent York.
He's pleading the fifth. He has the right to remain silent. Don't try and force him to say something. He has the right to an attorney.
George, and what are you trying to say?
Anything I say may be used in a court of law. Let's just let the topic of Emily's cooking go, okay?
I can't do that, George. I want to know. I guess it's just my curiosity. So tell me, Thomas.
Well, for lack of a better word, let's just say it's Amazon-style cooking.
Ah, that was well said. I'm impressed.
Oh, you were lacking words, were you? Let's get back to work.
Well, I guess we probably should help Emily with her cooking then. So let's see if she's home right now. Okay. Oh, who's this?
Let's take a walk around.
Ma'am, you shouldn't be stopped on the side.
I'm glad you're here. My pot. It's getting cold. Please, let's get going.
Sigh. Guess I'll drive you home. So, yeah, okay, I gotta pass the time till it's night to meet Emily and hope that it's raining.
I have to say, not many people agree with me about Blue Thunder. Zach, if you disagree with any of my opinions about movies, just come out and speak your mind, okay? Just speak your mind.
And so I just spend time at the bar playing darts, where it's really fun as your stamina comes in with this focus that can help you. And also I love when the darts boards tell you which ones you need to throw out to get more points, because I don't understand darts rules at all. But yeah, if you take too long holding your stamina to focus, it will max out and then you go wild and can't hit the board at all. So what you're meant to do if you want to get the highest score is to use stabilizer pills to calm your nerves, and then you can win.
You just broke the record I set a few years ago.
Yeah, just don't blood test me. And this gives you a weapon pouch, letting you carry more weapons. Oh, cool. I don't need that. And so I meet the general, who actually can help fix up your car that you brought in here, you know, the one that you flipped over the squirrels. Or you could just buy some new cars from him, and it's really cool how they also will teleport with you when you fast travel. Like, you won't ever lose this car. However, it's so fast that the game can't even load things to keep up. So we finally meet Olivia, who says Diane met Nick the night before Anna was killed. So maybe this Nick guy is the killer. He did seem to not want to talk to us in the meeting hall. Aha, another suspect on the list. That's two. Gee, this might take a while. But we get a call that something happened at Becky's house, who was Anna's best friend. And we go there, finding her boyfriend Quint crying outside. And yeah, I barely know these characters because apart from the town meeting, you will actually have to go out of your way to interact with most of these NPCs in the world. But I spent a lot of my time with the sheriff people. I thought I could talk to these other ones later, but oh man, it seems like stuff is happening to them already. Because yeah, I was kind of confused on some of these characters, like a huge important one, Carol, I didn't even realize was Thomas's sister until after I beat the game. And so you head into the other world. We have profiling like before, you know, find the important clues to piece together the crime, watching it like a blurry movie. They never showcase what exactly happens in it, as York will have to explain what he's saying. And yes, this has that annoying Raincoat Man segment as we find Becky, but...
What happened here?
George, stay back. She's trying to speak.
We don't have time. She's dying. Thomas, cut that wire. No! We must get her to the hospital immediately.
What?
What are you doing? Get out of the way. I'll do it.
No, don't. George, stop.
And George cuts the wires to free her, but it sets off the trap, killing Becky, who also had her tongue bit off so she couldn't speak, and red seeds in her mouth. But she coughs up a key, which you find her safe, which reveals how she wrote to someone saying that she was the one in high heels who was there when Anna was murdered and ran away when it happened. So she potentially saw the killing, and the killer has now shut her up. She also says how this locket, which she took from Anna's hand, which Anna got off the killer, and now Becky is saying she's going to give it to her sister, Diane. Man, everyone in this town seems to know each other.
I can't believe 2 people have been murdered in our town. And now 2 young children are at the center of it all. I just can't come to grips with it yet.
Crime will happen wherever there are people. And that's why we have our jobs.
Might be easier for you because you don't live here. These were people that I knew that were killed. And the murderer might be someone who lives here in this town. It's really depressing.
I know. But someone has to bring this murder to justice.
You're right, I know. But, well, Agent York, sometimes I just think I'm not really cut out to be a cop.
Not true, Emily. You have the potential to be a superb law enforcer. You can be emotional at times, but you also possess what's most important.
I do? What do you mean?
What do you think? A sense of justice.
Justice? I must admit, I'm surprised to hear such a... how should I say this? Such an obvious answer. I thought you'd say something else.
So we learned that the twins were the ones who got it from Becky to give it to Diane, where, oh God, he's here.
This is all starting to sound a little like Alice in Wonderland.
Which makes you Humpty Dumpty.
Huh?
But now another problem crops up. The side quests do have time limits.
What?
Yeah, well, it's more like if you're progressing the main story, you get less free days to try and do all the things. Only on these chapters, you're meant to go and do Emily's cooking quest before chapter 12. I'm on chapter 12. I didn't realize this because I thought if I just kept playing the game's main story, I'll get a rainy night one of these days, since it's random, and on that night, I'll do the quest. But luckily, there is a way to fix this, as you can replay chapters and do it there, as you can't save in between a replay chapter, you'll have to beat the whole thing again. And this is also how you can replay the other world segments to collect more trading cards. But for our purpose, you can just load any chapter before, like 6, and just keep passing the days until you get a rainy evening. As we get the first cooking quest where she's
So how's the chemistry experiment coming along?
An experiment?
really bad at it, and York has to save the day.
Emily, the answer is cheese.
Cheese? This does taste good. Like something Thomas made.
I agree it's good, but this isn't in the same league with Thomas's cooking. His cooking is so precise, so delicate. I'm looking for an example here. It's like listening to classical music during tea time on a holiday afternoon. This, however, is far more wild and running free. The two are opposite poles, really. Making yours, like...
Now the thing is, you can only complete one character quest per chapter. Yeah, another weird rule, meaning you can't forward more days in this chapter to get another rainy night. You have to finish chapter 6, save, then reload chapter 7, and then pass the days here to get the rainy night to get her second quest. Okay, so how do I pass the days? Yeah, I found this outhouse to sleep, and I can just keep sleeping in 12-hour bursts. And every day at 7 p.m., I check if it's raining, and then I go see her. If not, I keep sleeping. This took a very long time. And even though York kept feeling hungry, like a sim you shove in the pool and you take out the ladder and water and just watch them starve to death, you heal every time you sleep. And I know when I find that rainy night, I'll just eat something and fix it right up.
Emily, the answer is onion.
Onion?
And you give her the onion.
I can't believe you're the only person I have to eat this fine meal with.
Zach, we search for ingredients for her, and we help her with her cooking. We even went as far as to praise the taste. And yet she still gets angry. Are all women this way?
And so the final quest is to make Eggs Benedict. And it's just funny the amount of care and detail in these houses. Oh God, is that a knife in the wall? How bad are you at cooking? And so back to the main story, after Becky's death, you now suspect Nick might be behind it. So on his next meeting with Diane, you decide to split up. George to follow Diane, and us three to follow Nick. Man, he's a safe driver. You can't get too close to him or too far. Otherwise you lose and have to redo this on a whole new day. Nah, no retry button. If you lose, you gotta sleep, wake up, pass some time, and then do it all again. But you arrive at the museum and once again you go in alone.
Promise me this. If there's trouble, then you'll call us in, okay? You might not think so, but we're a team.
Team?
That's what I think, at least, and I'm interested in you and Zach. I don't want anything to happen to you before I hear more about you two.
And here, the game hits a huge turning point for me, and not in the good way. Where after the Emily cooking quest, I was actually really, and I mean truly, thinking this could end up being as one of my favorite games. Yeah, I don't care how janky and low quality it is. I do care a bit about loading, but I was managing. It was completely playable, there was no game-breaking bugs, and I was buying into this world that they were setting up, doing these everyday tasks to catch this killer. The bonding we felt eating lunch with George, Thomas, and Emily, learning about how she wanted to cook this food for her father, who she hasn't spoken to in years, reminding her of her childhood, and York, of all people, giving her good advice. It was such good writing. And yet, it all came crashing down. As there was a reason it said you can't do Emily's cooking quest, or any quest, after chapter 13, because the game removes all the open world sandbox and becomes linear to the end. Yep, you're just doing main mission after each other. The entire second half of the game, you're locked in to these main missions. So if you don't have any more side quests with the characters to do, what is left in the second half of the game? Well, you have the story, which was still captivating, but then you got the combat. And my god, this was a tipping point, as now you have this new enemy, as every monster in the game so far, it's just a zombie. Some will get some weapons and some guns, which makes them a bit more scarier, but nothing you can't manage with your broken gun. But this crawler is so annoying, as you cannot run away. They lock you in this room and it'll crawl around, and then you shoot it. Then it jumps on the ceiling, and then you shoot it, and then it falls down, and then you can't shoot it, as you have to press circle with a generous window so it'll never harm you to dodge out of the way. And then you repeat like 10 more times. It is insane this was in the game, because it grounds all progression as you stand still for 5 minutes to defeat one. And don't think it's gonna get any better. Oh no! Anyway, you find Diane with Nick unconscious and she's strung up. So you go to save her, tackling her, and you land safely. However, it seems her tongue was cut and she's high on some drugs. As then George goes to arrest Nick for attempted murder. But then...
Don't touch me!
And Diane dies. You know, maybe George needs to go on the sus pile. He now has killed 2 people accidentally. And so then, to brighten the mood, Willie shows you that his master was locked down here, and then Kaysen reveals he was in love with Diane and they both were flirting, but then Nick came in, so she locked Kaysen down here. So he couldn't possibly be the killer because he was locked up. Alright, you're off the hook, big guy. And I guess George is feeling sad about causing these deaths accidentally and goes drinking with you, where we learn his backstory about how he got the scars. His mother would abuse him, whipping him with tree branches, giving him those marks. Damn, that's so sad. Alright, George, you're off the suspect list. But then York also invited Emily, who really overdresses for the occasion. What, you didn't bring in your pet flies like I did? And so George hurries off, saying he drank too much, as we talk with Emily.
He did ask me out when I first came to town. I was still in high school.
You know, maybe it's time to reveal again what I write in my notes that I took while playing, in times like this. Okay, back on the suspect pile you go. And so we head home, but she's come to our room. Okay, York, don't blow this.
My mother was a very kind woman.
No, don't talk about your mother.
Mind if it's something personal?
Fire away.
Who's Zach?
Zach is a friend of mine.
Oh, so you do have friends.
So York created Zach as a coping mechanism after seeing his parents' death, in that his dad killed his mom and then himself.
But I do remember the words my father said to me. At times we must purge things from this world because they should not exist. Even if it means losing someone that you love.
Well, Emily, what do you have to say about all this? I'm sorry, I swallowed a fly. So, yeah, I think I really like these two together. They seem so perfect, balancing off each other. And Emily is like a character I haven't seen in a game before. She feels so real in her performance and lines. Like, I can't describe how much I was enjoying these scenes and wanting to see the best for them too. Hey, what's with that text on screen? So it turns out now Thomas has gone missing, while York, after his best talk ever with a lady, well, the sound effect kind of ruins the jump scare, which is good. Yay! I love not being scared. Happy Halloween! As now York sees a sign in the newspaper that it's time to talk to Harry about what he knows, while Emily goes looking for Thomas.
Serial killer does not stay within the boundaries of logic. Thus, you can't hope to capture such a killer using only logic. That's why I'm going to see Harry. You go with George and find Thomas.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Great. Thanks.
Ugh, I was an idiot for thinking he might be a good pick. I really need to work on my taste in men.
Don't worry, you can still have lunch with her.
I thought about ordering in, but since we had leftovers, I made us lunch. What's with the face? I think my cooking turned out pretty good today.
Oh, okay, great. A sudden crisis. What should I do, Zach?
I might not be a wonder chef like Thomas, but I do practice every day. Well? Come on, tell it to me straight.
Emily.
Yes? What?
I went into the sewer once during an investigation.
Okay, just stop right there.
And you can also bribe this guy.
Hey there, Benjamin. I wanted to talk to you. Have you heard this yet?
Hey, I already knew that! So we meet Harry after some puzzle who is like, find the red seeds and I'll tell you more. So we head to the cemetery and find that these red trees are in abundance and dropping all their seeds. They were here the whole time. So Harry is like, there was this raincoat killer years ago and this one is copying them, linking the red seeds to this legend where it says if you kill ladies after putting these red seeds inside them, you could live forever. And he says, if you don't believe me, there's records of what happened years ago that are in the sheriff's office. So you go there and you find, oh, okay, they're missing. And George is like, the only person who could have access to them is Thomas. You know, the person who is still missing. Oh, please don't tell me Thomas is the killer. They seem so nice. And well, the station goes otherworldly again and more zombies and Raincoat Man finds. So after this, York asks Emily for coffee because of his milk ritual.
This isn't the cup that Thomas always uses for me, is it?
I'm sorry about that too, then. I just used a cup that was nearby. You have a problem with that?
A problem? Not at all, my dear Emily. The coffee is perfect. Well, okay, taste aside. This cup certainly is perfect.
Okay. Fishing? And yeah, we go fishing to catch the metal suitcase. And if you get it wrong a few times, you fail and have to continue, which just redoes the whole fishing again. Why fail me? I just do it again? That's not real punishment, just more loading? And oh man, this is putting me to sleep. While I'm here, I should say I forgot to mention with Emily's cooking, it does have another bonus other than you being smitten with her. She gives you a weather doll, which you can press a button to make it show sun or rain. And no, this doesn't change the weather, which would have been a cool feature to help, you know, with the side quest, but it's kind of cooler, as if you change it to match the real weather, it will auto-heal you. Yep, pre-healing for doing nothing, utterly breaking more gameplay systems just by doing the character quests. So the files we find in the briefcase are in Thomas's handwriting and detail how to become immortal. You have to cut off the girl's tongue so they can't speak and put seeds in the mouth and do it 4 times. Well, 3 people are dead, so there's 1 more for this to become true. And it seems like, oh, okay, Thomas might be the killer. And so we head back with the files to Harry.
York, you have a natural gift for waiting for the correct timing.
Oh, you saw me wait days without showering to cook for Emily, huh? He says how back in the day, the military came and sprayed this purple gas over the town, testing some new weapon. He saw it all, and then he went back into town and the gas had made everyone go crazy and try to kill each other. Even his own dad, who wore a raincoat, becoming that first killer. Harry is the sole survivor from that time, and it was all covered up with the purple gas seeping into the ground and now in small amounts coming out when it rains, which is why the rumor of not going out in the rain started. And the seeds also have this effect, but in a stronger dose.
Quite a story.
I have the soil to myself.
And so George says he got a call that Thomas was seen at home, and we go in, finding a wig, but no Thomas. But they're still in town, so we try to find them, but then are stopped in our tracks, seeing Anna in the rain, who then leads us around town in a loop instead of actually running straight to the place. Why is this game adding padding now? And we land at the bar, which Thomas and Carol own, where after some shooting practice, we find a secret BDSM dungeon, and the locket that the killer wanted back, the one Anna took from him, which you know was passed on to Diane, and I guess Carol got it from her, it's here. But then...
First things first, we'd better let poor Nick go.
Okay. I guess Thomas is the killer? I don't know how I feel about that because it kind of feels anticlimactic. And nothing from what I know of the game. I guess maybe I didn't have time to talk to Thomas more. Maybe there was indication of it, but it's too early to say. So let's continue. Well, it doesn't get better gameplay-wise, as you have this 5-minute long scene, you as a kid, following in your dad's footsteps, who was also an FBI agent.
Dad? Dad?
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
Hurry up!
Well, York is tied up as we see Kaysen saying that he saw York enter this bar.
Now how about
So,
that?
did the
I guess
audio
I've
just die
always been
again?
lucky.
It's like he's so far away. Come on, don't die on me, game. So Kaysen says Willie can sniff out York's scent, so George will stay, while you now play as Emily, and this dumb dog just runs around town instead of taking you right to the place. While it keeps cutting to back and with a loading screen to York, who is just sitting there blindfolded, saying how much he likes Emily now, as he was too scared to open up to someone due to losing his parents. Finally, Emily might be the one for him.
There's another great cook in town. The falling in love with her would mean that I would need to love her cooking too. Why does God test us so, I wonder?
And it's like the sentiment is there, but then the gameplay is not, because it just keeps ruining these scenes with how I run to the dog and
Hey, where are you going? Deputy Willie, he's over here. Come on, hurry.
no, he isn't. As you're near the end of the game, the killer is almost caught. It's ramping up to a crescendo, but this tonal whiplash of music playing, which then keeps stop-starting every time it has to load back after cutting to York, where Emily's model will accidentally keep popping through the filter they're using to emulate York's blindfold. I'm losing my mind. And yet again, I try and take a shortcut.
Hey, where are you going? Deputy Willie, he's over here. Come on,
I
hurry.
defy you, fat man! Well, we reach the community center with the clock tower, and you play as Emily, who is in the other world, which it's never explained why. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna use her baby gun on this, okay? Where Thomas is the boss fight, where they apparently hate Emily?
It was so much better back then. We had so much fun. Emily? That was before you came. I won't let you have him! You filthy pig!
I didn't get that at all from when I played the game. All 4 of us seemed pretty close. You never said anything bad about her. Was it because I missed some optional things with their side quest? And so you gotta aim onto Thomas, which sucks because you know how I'm used to auto-aiming because the game made it very enticing to do so? Well, it sucks now because when you auto-aim, it lags behind the enemy's movement because, you know, all you were shooting before was slow-moving zombies. So now you can't hit them. You have to actually manually aim, and it's so annoying, while also pressing quick time events to dodge the attacks. The saving grace is that by pressing the quick time events, you'll actually never take damage if you manage to get this right. But we win and Thomas is sorry. But then Willie comes in to attack and the knife falls onto Thomas and it's over. Wait, no! So Willie frees York and we get our weapons back and see what happened. But York is like, WTF, Thomas isn't the killer. Don't you remember Thomas was with us for Diane's murder? Oh yeah. Then who's the killer? The only remaining suspects are Chubby and George. Oh no! Yep, he's the other person who could have accessed the files. As we head to confront him alone in the sheriff office again, where after the Otherworld segment, Emily comes in and we see Carol, the final victim, already having her tongue cut out.
Carol?
And so Carol dies while we gotta rush Emily to safety, saying for Kaysen to take her to the hospital while we will finish off George.
But if something happens, don't blame me, okay? Just go!
Gee, what a jolly guy. Not worrying he said that at all. And so we find George, as yes, he was the Raincoat Killer, who ran a BDSM cult in town, using Anna, Becky, Carol, Diane, and Thomas in drug-fueled parties, using the seeds as an aphrodisiac. And George was doing this to emphasize his control on the town. And Thomas had told him of this legend of the seeds, and George did notice when he hunted a deer, it was hard to kill, and then he found these seeds in the stomach, meaning, oh, maybe there's some truth to that rumor the seeds could give you immortality. So that's why he carried out that ritual to kill 4 women with the seeds and was setting up Thomas to take the fall.
This is the mark my mother gave me. Proof of power. The red tree.
The red tree? You've got that all wrong, George. That's the mark of child abuse.
And all of this started because Emily rejected George. Yep, remember that action? That made George obsessed with her and wanting to control younger women, which changed his whole demeanor. And as Thomas put it, who was in love with George as per the tattoo, everything was better before Emily showed up, as now George only wanted her. So yeah, the guy we share beers with is the true bad guy. And I'm like, sure. Okay, because who else could it be? There's not many suspects in the story, and all the other townspeople, through no fault of my own, I wanted to talk to them, but I didn't realize the game stops you from talking to people for half of the game. I really did think I was going to get free time throughout the whole game, not stop after chapter 13. So then my 2 main suspects were George and Kaysen. Well, okay, I guess I'm correct. And we gotta stop the crazed guy who eats more seeds and becomes this thing in this other world. We're now gonna shoot his back weak point manually, yes. Just bait his attacks. Remember, you can't take damage if you press the buttons right. And so after 3 phases, well, the 3rd phase, you gotta shoot the weapon that he throws at you.
What just happened?
And so lightning kills George. Finally, the end of the game. As we play as young York, running through the red room, seeing all the key people, and
Francis, well done.
His mother has the same voice actress as Emily. Surely not a coincidence.
I'm sure your father wants to congratulate you.
Expect no praise.
And so in the hospital, we ask Usher where Emily is. He says she was never brought in. Kaysen brought you in and gave you this note, which says to head to George's house, and we do so, finding a shrine to Emily. He was truly crazy for her. And then his mother, who wasn't sick, but long dead. A tree growing out of her, which York finally realizes, oh, there was no tattoo of an anti-peace symbol. The thing on the back was actually a tree branch, and that was what George's mother whipped into him, proving those scars meant he was the killer all along. and we see a picture showing Kaysen and George together. Oh no, he has Emily! Yep, the milk was right yet again. FK. It was always right! Kaysen is the true big bad guy. But to cut that momentum, just kill it completely. You get a chapter where you play as the Raincoat Killer from years ago, you know, Harry's dad, and you gotta make it all the way to the clock tower before a timer runs out. Amazing final level gameplay vibes, and in it you can see Kaysen was part of the military, turning the seeds into that purple gas. As now back in modern time, you find York standing here, but the whole townspeople are zombies for some reason. So you rush inside to find Kaysen with Emily and a sapling in her body growing. As yet turns out Kaysen is not human. He's from the other world and plants these trees around our world sowing chaos. And the only way to grow these trees is to put the seeds inside a woman while they are alive, as the plant kills them from the inside, which is what George did to his mother. Kaysen was controlling George with that rumor saying, you know, if you do this, you could be immortal, because he just wants more trees to be planted. And he would do this in mischievous ways. And he is truly deplorable.
Is that you? Oh, thank God. York,
Emily, no. That isn't me.
York. York.
Emily!
Really, dude? Did you really have to do that in front of York? What did he do to deserve this pain? And he still keeps calm during this. As York finally realizes from his memory all along, Kaysen was there. His dad was actually trying to stop him, as Kaysen had put seeds into York's mother. And that is why his dad shot her, to save her from the pain of it sprouting. And York realizes, actually, his real name is Zack, and York is the entity he was talking to the whole time. It was the other way around. York is the one who took over the body to shield Zack from the pain of his parents' death. And yeah, this is how Zack looks like, with the Eminem haircut and a huge scar from when Kaysen attacked him as a kid. This is why everyone in town mentions your scar when you first meet them, but due to York taking over, you don't even notice the scar on you. And whenever you say your name is York to people, you're actually just saying Zack, but to you, you're hearing it as York. Look, that's what all these video explainers said. Okay, I was lost during the actual gameplay and more worried about Emily's safety. So Zack finally gets in control.
I can't do it. I can't kill Emily.
I'm sorry, Zack.
Stop.
And Emily dies, fulfilling her justice, taking it into her own hands. And, well, I'll say my thoughts later, but now we got the final boss, where you gotta manually shoot him again. The guide actually told me beforehand to buy this weapon, which does way more damage, and I had so much money, I'm like, okay, sure. And it makes the fight pretty easy. Then you got a section where you gotta run away, and it goes on forever, actually making my hands ache from spinning the stick so much. Then you got the final phase, where you shoot his doll while dodging his attacks before the cinematic finisher, as you defeat this entity, finally stopping the other world, which makes the town back to normal, but Emily is still gone. And so the final free time where, yep, now you can roam around, and I really didn't feel like it. I just went to the hotel to check out.
50 years ago?
That's right. That's me in the middle. I was pretty popular back then. Men were always around me.
You were there? So you knew about the gas before, and you didn't say anything? As Zack leaves town, where then, yeah, I guess he got his kids to name their kid Emily in honor of her, and then you see York, where he's maybe not a voice in your head, he was actually an alien entity, maybe not a split personality coping thing that Child U did, as he teases a sequel, and then the game ends. Oh boy, do I have a differing opinion on this game than most people. I mentioned earlier Emily was one of my new favorite characters that I've ever played in a video game. She was written and acted so well alongside her growing development with Zack, for it to then be so cruelly taken away in scenes which I didn't feel add much. The story is trying to make you feel these strong emotions, but the gameplay isn't matching that tone. I just really did not like this seed. I think I'm being more critical on this game due to how much I loved it during the first half, and just wished maybe the linear story lock could have happened a bit further on, giving me more chapters to still have that freedom that I was enjoying. And this was also because the previous 7 hours I was locked into linear storytelling, where this is the gameplay. Fighting 3 of these crawlers back to back. And then the story is saying Thomas is the killer. No, it's George. No, Case, and also 2, where 2 of these characters I actually liked and didn't believe them to be the killer until the game told me so. Because I thought it was too obvious of surely not George. I guess it's more real because it's people you don't suspect, oh yeah, they can be killers, and George did have that backstory. Maybe I was too trusting of this quirky country town. Like, I really did believe I was picking flowers for George's sick mother, and felt even more betrayed. And now what's left? The whole sheriff group that I really liked, they're all dead. I think it's more so because I was enjoying the routine early nature of the first half of the game. I didn't expect to be locked into only doing story, and then suddenly this character that I was really liking taken away so brutally. While the gameplay was beating me down with boredom, not letting have moments where I, could explore the town, talk to more NPCs. I missed out exploring the graveyard properly. I didn't go back to the hospital to chat up these 2. Few of these other characters I still barely know anything about. And sure, I could replay segments like I did for Emily's cooking quest, but I was thinking I didn't have to. I thought I was just going to have more time to spend with people during the later chapters. I didn't sign up for 7 hours of this. The story does make sense for the most part. Not everything is revealed. There are things left to your imagination, but I was in such a state that I had to watch so many explainer videos for it to make sense. Like, I didn't even know who Carol was till I had to look it up because I was so focused on the sheriff people that I didn't get the time to meet the other characters. I just couldn't believe I had this game, which I was pretty much on track to joining my other favorite murder mystery games with quirky characters in the Hall of Fame as one of my favorite games. No, I'm really serious. Emily and Zach were so well written that this could have been a top 10 game for me. And in the end, it's now just Zach alone in this final chapter, now allowed to free roam. And I'm like, what's the point of doing this if all the characters I cared for are gone? But I guess this was a good thing in a way because I'm not going to forget this experience. It's rare of a game to do this. Dash all the connections you had in one fell swoop. Well, after 7 hours of gameplay. As Deadly Premonition is a cult classic game where it somehow made it through the many cancellations and released to very mixed reception, feeling like something of a generation old, but to those who looked past it, found something quite charming. As someone who loves murder mystery games with quirky characters, I was interested to finally try and see what all the fuss was about. And here was a game that utterly wowed me on both sides of the coin, from how everything followed a schedule, you had to find these characters on certain timings, to then gameplay that was shoehorned in last minute and you can just so easily break, making it not a challenge at all, to characters that have such realistic written dialogue, talking about movies they like, food they enjoy, things they did in their past, all in a way you don't see in Japanese developed games. And then all of that changed in the second half, where the whole game just removes that open nature, letting you plan your day around. Now it's back-to-back main missions, changing up characters in a way that I could not anticipate, and then left me feeling dead inside. While the gameplay was slapping me in the face, going, oh, you like this, right? It's fun, right? It was a slog to get through that second half, which is insane to think. But I was considering this game to be one that I would love to replay. Maybe I could try it with the characters that I didn't talk to. I could do it on a second playthrough. Now it's a game I don't ever want to replay because I don't want to experience that emptiness and hurt I felt, which I guess no other game has ever given me to that extent. I have settled down on this thought since beating the game, but I was just numb during that second half. Yet I can still see why this has a cult following. How not many games try this kind of system. I think this is one of the best games to do the open world scheduling talking to NPCs formula, and it will be stuck in my mind thinking how many more games could try this. So yes, there is no other game quite like this. Wow, wasn't that a fun Halloween video? But yeah, this has the spookiness, creepy zombies that walk backwards, a crazed killer with some insanely bloody murders, the very American setting, which is where Halloween feels at home the most. And it's not that scary because you don't ever feel in danger. York is such a fun character with how real the dialogue feels with Zack. So then other characters, I wanted to know everything about them, and the act of finding out was so fun. Just really the combat was something that needed fixing. I mean, maybe there could be a version where the publisher, didn't want them to put it in and see how it would fare then. But I don't know, man. You have so many re-releases of this game, and yet somehow they still haven't fixed it, making this such a hard game for people to get into unless they are willing to shell out for old console copies or manage with that Switch version. By the way, if you're still on this video, you must really like the videos, or this is auto playing while you're asleep, so anything I say right now could influence your dreams.
Onion.
Onion?
But are there more games, shows, movies that feature this specific thing where it's a dynamic of a serious detective and a quirky assistant? Like Ace Attorney, Raincoat, Somnium Files. This game has it in reverse where Emily is serious and York is the quirky one. I've been loving this anime as well so much that I don't want it to end. I've been dragging it out as much as possible, which has this dynamic in droves, and I'm just finding I love this trope so much, the dichotomy of the serious but the quirky character all together solving a mystery. I want to experience more examples of this. I know Twin Peaks probably is on that list, but please let me know of any other examples. As yeah, York, I think I'm gonna leave him to his delectable sandwich, as I have one more thing to take care on this Halloween Eve. Alright, I'll start dusting tomorrow. And that's it from me. I hope you have a good Halloween. I wanted to keep that old YouTuber tradition of where every year I at least do one Halloween game each October. I really love it when other people do it, and I feel it's not as prevalent as before. As someone who only experiences this month of spookiness through media, because down here, all we got in October is 40-degree heat. If you enjoyed me pretending it's not almost summer, you can support these videos with my Patreon like these lovely people. My social media is linked down below, and until then, I shall see you all in the next video.